Well, now it's time to push the button and get online.
Finally.
Hey, just a minute, you guys. First, you'll need to install your browser. The browser is the application that allows you to view all of the information on the web.
You forgot to tell them that installing a browser is simple, and often it's free.
That's true, Dasha. Sometimes you can get it free from your ISP, or a friend can download it for you on a disk.
And don't forget, Mom, you can also buy a browser or download one from the internet.
You guys are jumping way ahead of yourselves. First, Peter, you might want to explain what it means to download.
That's simple. It means to transfer a file of information from a main computer or server to your computer.
And it's
I came into contact with somebody from one of the big four, ended up becoming kind of a mentor to me. He's now a member of our club.
Man, when I first saw my first Hell's Angel standing there, I was like, that's what I want to be, man.
If you're running a three-piece, just like you know, it is truly an outlaw standard. Doesn't make you a one percenter, but it makes you an outlaw.
This is what I believe in, you know, and it was awesome to see that my brothers believed in me.
It's the wolf leading the sheep, man. You know, the sheep need to open their eyes because they're about to walk off the cliff where a whole other pack of wolves are at the bottom.
If you were getting your lunch money taken before you put some rags on, if they catch you by yourself, they're going to take your lunch money again.
I try to be around the guys and hang out with them as much as possible and get to know them, because that's really what it's about.
The Hells Angels are being arraigned.
One man was stabbed in the chest, another was knocked out, who faced criminal charges, including charges of hate crimes as well as gang allegations. One defendant faces an attempted murder charge, so this certainly appears to be a widespread investigation.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin With Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to talk about these three individuals and how they came off with $250,000 worth of merchandise, including motorcycles. And we're going to talk about the recall that Harley-Davidson just had. It's pretty major. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your mother's brother, sister's friend about Chattin With Staxx, the dopest motorcycle content on YouTube. I appreciate all you guys taking the time to watch this show. Let me give a couple shout outs. Road Dog, what's going on? Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Keep up the good work, brother. I definitely will. Paula, how are you? Good afternoon. Tommy's in the building. Tiffany, good afternoon. Thank you guys all for joining me. I really appreciate you. CMC is in the house. So we got a lot to talk about today. I mean, these individuals, right? That's a chick in the middle. Believe it or not, that's a female. I don't know if she had her surgery yet. Holy shit. Kathy Bates status, right? Damn. That's one ugly bitch. So there are a ton of motorcycle accidents, crashes. A really sad situation is this young kid, I believe he was 16, lost both his feet in a motorcycle crash recently. So there's a ton of them. Man killed after being thrown from a motorcycle in East Alabama wreck. One person has died after a two-vehicle crash in East Alabama. According to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, 24-year-old Chancellor Perkins was killed after his motorcycle he was riding was struck another vehicle on Alabama 81, 10 miles southeast of Heffin in Colburn County around 1:05 p.m. on Sunday, April 19th. Officials say Perkin was thrown from the motorcycle during the crash and was pronounced dead at the scene, and it is under investigation. I mean, there are so many of these, a lot of motorcycle accidents. So a man has been arrested in alleged hit-and-run crash that caused a child to lose his leg. This is out of North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. A man has been charged. Let me show you who he is. This guy. A man has been charged with a hit and run after investigators say he was involved in a crash that severely injured a child. The crash happened on Saturday morning in a residential area on South 15th Street. Investigators say Theodore Gauze, 51, hit a 9-year-old child who was sitting on his bike in his driveway. The child's leg was severed from his body during the crash. Gauze allegedly got out of his car and ran away before witnesses found him. Police believe he was under the influence at the time of the crash. Gauze was arrested and charged with felony hit and run, felony serious injury by a motor vehicle, driving while impaired. He also faces traffic charges related to the crash as well. Court records say Gauze has an extensive criminal history. He's being held without bond and is expected to face the judge this week. I mean, that's a sad situation. The kid was only 9 years old that he hit. I mean, listen, if you drink, don't drive. If you're under the influence, don't drive. I mean, that should be the rule. It should be the standard, right? So here is the other case I was telling you guys about. This is out of Knoxville. A 16-year-old suffers amputation of both feet following motorcycle crash on I-40 West Knoxville, police say. Let me see. I got a video for you guys. I mean, that's sad. A kid loses both his feet. I mean, it's bad enough. 9-year-old, right? Wasn't doing nothing, was sitting on a toy in his driveway. He gets hit by someone. I mean, this is sad too. A 16-year-old loses both his feet. It's crazy. You got to be very careful out there.
Well, we have an update for you on a motorcycle crash we told you about earlier. We now know that a 16-year-old had both of his feet amputated following the crash. It happened around 3:30 on I-40 West near Cherry Street. That blockage that you're looking at right now is the aftermath of that. Knoxville police say that they believe the teen was speeding and he lost control and crashed into a guardrail. Officials say that he was alert afterwards, but severely injured. He was then taken to the UT Medical Center for treatment and surgery.
I mean, that's his whole life affected, right? Both your feet. Like, your whole life is affected at that point. Like Mike Ball losing a whole leg. Like, that's serious shit. Like, can you imagine? Kid losing both his feet at 16 years old. Now he has to go through the rest of his life without 2 feet. That's a serious situation to have to try to deal with, you know. I don't know if I'd be able to handle that. But anyway, Harley-Davidson has made a crazy recall. It's recalling several motorcycles because of rear brakes might fail. I mean, that's a pretty major thing. The recall includes more than 16,000 2025s and 2026s, FLHC, FXBB, FXLRS, FXLRST Softail motorcycles. The rear brake line may contact the body control module, resulting in a hole in the brake line, brake fluid leak, or loss of rear brakes. Harley-Davidson will replace the body control module, caddy, and associated hardware for free. The rear brake line will also be inspected, and if damaged, will be replaced along with associated parts at no charge. Owner notification letter is expected to be mailed out by May 18th. So if you're not aware of this and you just bought a new bike, I mean, you should probably know this type of stuff. They're going to mail out the notification letter by May 18th, and owners can also use their motorcycle VIN number at nhtsa.gov to see whether it is affected or not. I mean, that's a lot of fucking money that they are going to lose from. I mean, that's a serious thing. They could lose their fucking rear brakes. I mean, a lot of people use the rear brake. Hey, KP, what's going on? I bet I hear you, Staxx. I'm going to slow down. I know. Poor kid has his whole life ahead of him. I mean, look at the 9-year-old. That's terrible. Kid was just sitting in his driveway and he gets hit by a drunk driver. And who knows? That guy probably doesn't even have insurance or anything. You know what I'm saying? It's a sad situation. If you guys didn't know, right? You guys remember McGruff, the crime-fighting dog? I was surprised to know that the guy who plays McGruff, he was arrested in 2011. He's been in prison ever since. I think he should be getting out soon. He was sentenced to 16 years. I was shocked to hear this, right? So, McGruff, the crime-fighting dog, has been in prison for over a decade. John Morales, the actor who played McGruff, the crime-fighting dog, has been jailed for more than a decade. His legal troubles began in 2011 when police discovered 1,000 marijuana plants, 27 weapons, including grenade launchers, and 9,000 rounds of ammunition at his residence. The actor was sentenced to 16 years behind bars after pleading guilty to the charges. Although Morales maintained that he was a nonviolent during the hearing, U.S. District Judge expressed concerns, stating, "Everything I read about you makes you seem like a scary person. This suggests the severity of the charges and items found during your arrest contributed to the judge's perception of Morales." McGruff, the crime dog, was an animated bloodhound created by Global Adversaries Agency for the National Crime Prevention Council. He was introduced in 1980 in a series public service announcement that educated citizens about personal safety to reduce crime. The dog's name was selected as part of a nationwide contest in July of 1980. It took 5 creative teams, consisted of a copywriter and an art director, to create McGruff, the crime dog, for settling on a widely known law enforcement character. Options included a golden retriever, bulldog versions of J. Edgar Hoover, an aggressive-looking deputy dog, and a mongrel that became a wonder dog. McGruff, the crime dog, was encouraged Americans to actively take steps to reduce crime via television commercials, comic books, live appearances, and more. His favorite message includes locking doors and leaving the lights on and staying when you're away from home and letting the neighbors know when you go on vacation. He also encouraged folks to do things that build communities. I did not know this dude was locked up for 16 years. This includes creating neighborhoods where people look out for each other and the kids feel safe. McGruff, the crime dog, has also made thousands of appearances in community and schools events over time. I think he came to my school when I was in elementary school. This message have changed more broadly based crime concerns, including bullying, cyberbullying, online safety, telemarketing crimes against seniors, identity theft, and safe firearm storage. McGruff, the crime dog's costumes used by police during outreach efforts involving children. There currently are thousands of McGruffs on duty, number of costumes in use. To get around, the character drives in a Corvette, a truck in Arizona, and a wiener wagon in Florida, but he usually prefers to ride in a patrol car, assisting law enforcement. That is insane. This dude got busted. So if you guys haven't seen, Oxygen released a new episode involving the murder of radio host. Now, she was killed, I believe, by her husband, but they convicted Freddie Agnello because he was a part of the Pagans Motorcycle Club. Now, I've been speaking with Freddie for probably the last year now, right? And I'm putting together like a documentary about Freddie and how I don't think he did it. I honestly think that the husband did it. Now, the husband's dead. He unalived himself in prison. There's a lot of holes in this story, right? And I've been talking to Freddie for probably the last year, and I have folder full of recordings of him calling me and us going over the case. So I'm going to be working on that right after I'm done with the documentary, The Fallen Angels. But they really tried to throw him under the bus in this Oxygen documentary. Now that's Glick on the right. That's Freddie on the left. Freddie was a retired member at the time, but they tried to bring in the Pagans Motorcycle Club and make it seem like they were involved. They had nothing to do with this case. Absolutely nothing. So what they did is they convicted Freddie because he was a former member of the Pagans. He's a retired member. Glick was the president at the time, and he ended up telling all types of wild tales. You guys might have seen him in one of the Oxygen shows, but he is a dirtbag, total dirtbag. But I got a lot of information that you guys might be surprised to know about this whole situation. Like I said, I've been in contact with Freddie for probably over a year now. And I have a lot of recordings of him going over the case. So I will be working on it soon. And maybe I'll put together one just for YouTube. And we'll talk about the whole case. It's a pretty wild situation. Let me see if I could find it. All right, from radio fame to murder for hire, the chilling plot that exposed the Pagans biker drug empire, which it wasn't, right? So the doctor was writing prescriptions for people, right? These guys that were getting prescriptions from the doctor, now the doctor's on the left. The people that were getting prescriptions from the doctor were like Glick and a whole bunch of other people. There was a bunch of other people, co-conspirators in the case, but they weren't selling what they were getting from the doctor. They were using them. So it wasn't like a big drug bust. It wasn't that, but they're making it out to be that, right? So it says murder of beloved radio personality April Kaufman shocked communities across Philadelphia and southern New Jersey in 2012. But what initially appeared to be a baffling, isolated killing would unravel into something far darker, a web of deception, organized crime, and a sprawling underground drug ring tied to the notorious Pagans Motorcycle Club. But that is totally false. A voice the community trusted, April Kaufman wasn't just a radio host. She was a fixture of her community, known for her advocacy for veterans. She frequently visited the wounded soldiers at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. The building and reputation as someone deeply committed to one who serves. Her charisma made her unforgettable. Friends described her as vibrant, compassionate, and magnetic, someone who never met a stranger. But her personal life told more complicated story. A marriage built on lies. Now, her husband was a grimy person. And people wonder who unalived her. And I think it was her husband. Her husband ended up unaliving himself in prison, I believe. April's husband, James Kaufman, was a respected endocrinologist who claimed to be a former Green Beret. That story investigators later discovered was a fabrication. So he wasn't a Green Beret. And she found out that he was lying, right? Part of a pattern of deception that would become central to the case. To outsiders, it appeared to be a power couple. Behind closed doors, however, tensions were mounting. April had began uncovering the truth about her husband's past and was reportedly preparing to leave him. That decision may have sealed her fate. On May 10th, 2012, April was found dead in her Linwood, New Jersey home. She had been shot 3 times. There were no signs of forced entry, no robbery, just a clean, calculated execution. Authorities from Linwood Police Department and the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office were immediately puzzled. Early suspects included family handyman. They were ruled out. Even James Kaufman initially appeared to have an alibi. With no clear leads, the case went cold. A daughter's instinct and a break in the case. While investigators stalled, April's daughter, Kim Pack, never stopped pushing. She believed her stepfather was involved and pointed to troubling behavior. His demeanor at the funeral, his quick disposal of April's belongings, and his eagerness to collect life insurance payout. So he got the money. Her suspicions aligned with a critical discovery. April uncovered her husband's lies and was planning a divorce. More importantly, she may have been preparing to expose him. She was a radio host. She could have exposed him. Something severe. The hidden drug operation. Years later, a breakthrough came. Not from the murder investigation, but from a parallel probe by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Agents have been investigating James Kaufman for insurance fraud, suspicious prescribing practices. They discover he was operating what authorities describe as a pill mill, writing massive numbers of opioid prescriptions to individuals, many of whom were linked to the Pagans Motorcycle Club. Now, that's not, people aren't arguing that, right? There were people that were involved with that club that were getting that from the doctor. But it wasn't like what the police describe it as. These prescriptions were allegedly funneled back to the drug market operation to generate significant profits, they say. When investigators attempted to search his office, Kaufman sparked a tense standoff because I think he thought that they were coming there to arrest him for his wife's unaliving. So he held himself hostage inside the fucking office. So at one point declaring he wouldn't go to jail, he ultimately surrendered, but the search revealed cash, records, and first connection between the doctor and organized crime. The hit plot was uncovered. The case finally cracked when authorities focused on Andrew Glick, the high-ranking member of the Pagans in Cape May County. Facing his own charges, right? Glick cooperated to reveal the chilling truth, they say, which I don't think it was the chilling truth. I think it was a bold-faced lie. So Glick, he had his own trouble, right? And he ended up getting arrested. So they focused on him. According to investigators, James Kaufman arranged a murder-for-hire plot to kill his wife. The motive, avoid a costly divorce and silence her before she exposed him on his stolen military valor and the drug ring. Glick alleged that Kaufman offered $50,000 to Fred Agnello, a pagan member, which is a lie because he was a retired member. Glick was the president at that time. But allegedly, he says that he paid $50,000 to carry out the hit. Agnello, in turn, recruited others, they say, including Francis Mulholland and Joseph Mulholland, to execute the plan. Which all of this, once you guys hear the tapes of him explaining things, you'll be like, damn, that something ain't right here. On that May morning, prosecutors say the killers arrived at April's home. One of them entered and shot her, ending her life in a brutal, calculated act. Now, I believe her husband did it himself. And Freddie even says that the husband did ask him at one point to do that, right? To unalive his wife. But he was like, so why would he go through someone else? Why would he go through Glick when he had direct contact with the doctor, right? It doesn't make any sense. So authorities built their case on wiretaps, witness testimony, mostly witness testimony and insider cooperation. Multiple individuals connected to the drug ring and the murder plot were charged. Freddie Agnello was ultimately convicted of murder and was sentenced to 30 years in prison, along with a life sentence on federal drug charges. He must serve decades before he's eligible for parole. But the key figures never faced full justice. Now, why is that? Because I think they really focused on Freddie when he wasn't the main player in this case. This guy is a total dirtbag. And you will see once I drop all this stuff that I have. So, James Kaufman died by unaliving himself in jail before he could stand trial. Francis Mulholland also died before his conviction. For April's family, the answers came, but full closure remained out of reach. The murder of April Kaufman exposed more than a single act of violence. It revealed how organized crime can operate in plain sight, hidden behind professional titles, community respect, and tightly knit network like outlaw motorcycle clubs. What began as a tragic, mysterious killing ultimately dismantled a dangerous drug operation and brought long-awaited accountability. But you guys will be shocked when you hear and see all of the evidence that I can bring forward. You'll be like, damn, something's not right with this case. Hey, Lindsay, how are you? Jason, what's good? Thank you guys for joining me today. Married with Paranormal. How you doing, man? Bro, you've been killing it on the content. Thank you, Married with Paranormal. Hey, Thomas, what's good, man? How are you? Thomas Vestergaard. Go check out our interview. Mr. EG, what's going on? Good afternoon. So let's get to the topic at hand. I got a pretty big interview coming up after this. Now, 3 charge in 5 counties in PA crime spree targeting Harley-Davidson. 3 members of the Maryland-based motorcycle club face felony charges. Now, I want to know, is this chick in the middle, because allegedly that's a woman, was in a motorcycle club? Does this club take women? Because it says 3 members of Maryland-based motorcycle club face felony charges in connection with a series of thefts at Harley-Davidson dealerships spanning 5 Pennsylvania counties. One incident escalated into robbery at gunpoint when the victim resisted, according to news release Thursday from the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office. This brazen and violent group made a big mistake coming to our Commonwealth to commit crimes, they said on Sunday. With our law enforcement partners in Maryland, we have built cases that will put a stop to this pattern of lawlessness. All 3 are in custody in Maryland and will be arraigned in Pennsylvania at a later date, according to investigators by the Attorney General's Office of Organized Retail Crime Section. You're screwed. The crimes happened between April 2nd, 2025 and July 20th, 2025 in Bucks, Duluth, Lehigh, Monroe, and York counties. Jermaine Holland, 53, Glenn Burney, and Jennifer Heist. That must be her in the middle. Jermaine Holland, Jennifer Heist, and Craig Gringe of Maryland were each charged with felony corrupt organization, organized retail theft, robbery, and related offenses. The case against them was filed in district court in Monroe County. Court records did not immediately list attorneys for the suspects. The 3 belong to the Guerrilla Motorcycle Club, a chapter of the Maryland-based Wheels of Soul Club. I don't know what that means. Maybe they're a support club for the Wheels of Soul. Let me see if I can find some information on them. But allegedly, this chick, Jennifer Heist, is involved with this club. I don't know if that's true. In most of Pennsylvania thefts, the member of the motorcycle club made small purchase inside the dealership, while another member stole a motorcycle, investigators say. The value of the stolen motorcycles in Pennsylvania is nearly $200,000. Fucking $250,000. Like, they're going to get a long time in prison for this shit. The robbery occurred July 20th, 2025 at the Eisenhower Harley-Davidson in Manchester Township, York County. Holland got onto a customer's motorcycle and began to drive away. When the customer attempted to stop him, the release says, Holland pointed a handgun at the customer and told him to stand back. Holland led police on a high-speed pursuit into Maryland and was later captured. The firearm was recovered. One of the suspects returned to Pennsylvania for their preliminary arraignment. Bail will be set, and a preliminary hearing will be scheduled for each of them. At a hearing, the district judge will determine if there is sufficient evidence to send them charges to trial. Guaranteed they're going to say yes. Pennsylvania incidents will be prosecuted by the Deputy Attorney General, Noel Wilkinson, of the Organized Retail Crime Section. They are in some deep shit. So James, Jermaine Holland is the guy. Let's see here. Is the guy on the left. Jennifer Heist is the one in the middle. That looks like a dude, I swear it does. And Craig Gringe is the guy on the right. But they are in some deep shit. They're going to make an example out of these three. You know that. But I got a lot of new interviews dropping. I got a new one with Milk. He is now with the Soul Brothers Motorcycle Club. He was with Chosen Few. And now he's with the Soul Brothers Motorcycle Club. I got the full interview with Hessam dropping. I got the full Chris interview dropping. I got the Punch interview dropping. I got a ton of content on the way. I appreciate all you guys. I'm going to have some great shows this week, so stay tuned. If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, too fucking bad. Start your own podcast. And remember, don't be a bitch.